Welcome to The Reluctant Leader, an Open Frame Partners podcast short-form video series about nonprofit leadership. How often have you heard one of your board members say something like, "I'm a donor and you need to do what I say," or even worse, "I'm the largest donor and if you don't do what I say, there's going to be hell to pay"? Well, over 30 years of nonprofit work, I've heard versions of those phrases too often to count. There's a fundamental board membership best practice that is lost in those moments. Namely, single board members, no matter their donor or tenure status, have zero authority. Board members only have authority when they come together as a group in a properly convened meeting. This undoubtedly comes as a surprise to some board members who join their board because they have a specific axe to grind, but donor or tenure status does not entitle a board member to greater authority than any other board member, and even then, authority is only vested when the board is rightfully convened. Of course, that's the best practice, but what is the actual practice? Actual practice requires you to navigate relationships, intents, and egos. The reality is that boards are comprised of individuals with a wide variety of skills, emotional intelligence, and sophistication. Strong boards usually evaluate their membership on a regular basis in terms of each member's performance, their value to the organization, and also their demonstrated commitment to the organization's mission. That evaluation process helps to ensure that board members stay focused on their strategic and fiduciary roles and also highlights any skill gaps for which a board may need to recruit. Sadly, many boards do not engage in that sort of board level assessment, falling back on recruiting friends or those who they think will bring big dollars into the organization. Friends do not necessarily fill a skill gap and often do not have the objectivity necessary to bring alignment with the organization's mission rather than their allegiance to whomever brought them in. And those with big dollars know that they are being brought in as major donors and usually expect a certain authority that goes with providing those resources, typically assuming that they have a voice on the board as large as their donation. Emotional intelligence is a fit consideration. Do board members have the ability to listen, to engage in problem solving that focuses on solutions rather than blame? Are board members able to balance the sometimes messy personalities that comprise a board and staff with real concerns about accountability and organizational progress and sustainability? Ultimately, emotional intelligence and fit refer to how an organization's culture is expressed. Board member sophistication is not a function of their societal position, but rather refers to the quality and depth of their thinking, as well as any specific skill sets that they may have. For example, nonprofit boards often look to have at least one lawyer and one financial expert in their membership, in addition to experts in whatever purpose the organization is seeking to fulfill. In any event, no matter their skill sets, board members must be able to work collaboratively to define strategic priorities, support funding activities, and participate in CEO evaluation. In this way, a sophisticated board is not reactive, engages in thoughtful discussion of real issues, and is able to function in the gray of nonprofit operation. So let's return for a moment to the board member who says something like, "I'm the largest donor and you have to do what I say." Statements like that are inevitably power moves that undermine the nonprofit mission and ethical position of the organization. He or she is really saying a few other things under that statement. He is saying, "My skill set is insufficient to the needs of the organization, so I'm going to exert the only leverage I think I have." He is saying, "I don't have the emotional intelligence to balance my ego needs with the mission needs of the organization." And he is saying, "I'm not sophisticated enough to understand what it means to be a nonprofit board member." If you hear a statement like that, don't let it stand. Meet with your board chair, raise the issue in your governance committee, review how your organization identifies and onboards new board members. Recognize that those sorts of statements really indicate a failure of process along the way in which a board member does not sufficiently understand his or her role in your nonprofit organization. Your leadership with your board is essential in addressing that failure. Anything less puts you and your organization in real jeopardy.